live on WFLA now. Feel good and live your best life with Bloom Health Club. Here's Gail Guayardo.
Are you ready to say goodbye to self-sabotage? Understand where your cravings originate? Feed your body and soul what it really needs? Our next guest says you need to tell your cravings that you're the boss. Joining me now is the author of Cravings Boss, The Real Reason You Crave Food and a 5-Step Plan to Take Back Control, Natalia Levey. Natalia, thank you so much for being our newest member of the Bloom Health Club.
It's such an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you.
So before we get into your book and what took you down a healing and holistic food journey, let's talk a little bit about you. You are a trained chef in New York City and restaurateur, the owner of a big hospitality house here in the Tampa Bay area. So how did you get your start?
Well, thanks again for having me here. It's such a pleasure to have all of these really interesting and deep conversations with you, Gail. I'm grateful to the whole Bloom team. The journey started probably back, so I was born in Eastern Europe, and I cooked everything at home, and I did not go into a restaurant until I was maybe 17 years old. So cooking is just such a natural part of my identity. It's just who I am. I did not get to experience with a lot of different ingredients because we were growing everything, but there was access to many international flavors. So in 1998, I actually left the former Soviet Union and I lived in Asia, traveled through Asia for about a year and a half. And then I ended up in New York City where I went to the culinary school. And that was such a life-transforming experience. And after that, I had a couple of small jobs and great experiences. And then I took time off to travel with my husband and raise a family, was a mom. But meanwhile, I continued to cook and I continued to learn about nutrition. But there was definitely a certain point in my life where I just wasn't feeling well. I found myself, while my life was so developing so well and I was happy in all the aspects, but I found myself continually crying in the shower floor. And I said, something's wrong. So then that's when I went to the functional medicine route and I found a doctor here in Tampa Bay that practices functional medicine. And that opened a whole new world for me of nutrition. And I got all kinds of certifications. And I, with the Institute for Functional Medicine and integrative health coach, and I would go to all of the different symposiums and just throw myself into that world of culinary medicine and food as medicine. And that's where the book came from. It was part of that self-healing journey. And I have noticed such a transformation in my energy level and in my health. I have a couple of genetic things going on with me, and so food has healed me.
That's so beautiful. And I want to introduce you to Brody Waddell. He is the lead producer for BloomTampaBay.com, our digital reporter, and you see him from time to time on Bloom as well. And, we talk a lot on the show about the importance of food and its direct relationship to healing your body. So as you went on this journey, what did you learn?
Oh my goodness, I learned so many things. Well, first of all is when, by the age of 20, eating 3 meals a day, most of us would have had 22,000 meals. So I came up with this number as I was researching information for my TEDx talk, which was all about gut health and gut and health happiness. And that number was so shocking to me. And that made me realize how every single meal is an opportunity to give our body the nourishment that it needs. And that was probably the most powerful thing that I learned, that every one meal is a chance. It's a new chance. It's a new beginning. No matter where you are in your journey, your next meal can be better.
And, we just did an entire story, and I think your perspective will be interesting, an entire hour special we did on the ingredients that you find here in the United States that you might not necessarily find in Europe, that, as consumers and as we eat our meals, we need to be very careful about what we're ingesting because all food is not created equally. And some of this overly processed food that we're eating is making us sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of the conversations that I continually have. And I don't work with patients or with clients anymore, but it's another conversation that I just had with my daughter. And because she came to me, my daughter's almost 20, and she came to me and she asked me, Mom, how can I do better? And I said, how about we start looking at your snacks? Because I feel like snacks is where we can really either sabotage ourselves or give ourselves a little extra nourishment. So I would start with looking at that.
Let's talk about your book, because you really took a deep dive into the real reasons that we crave food. So what did you find out?
So I found out that there's many different reasons. And to put it simply, you can divide them into different buckets. There are emotional reasons because we have emotional connections to food and to memories and to different experience. Because some experiences that we may have had were traumatic. You know, if you are being forced to eat broccoli, you may not develop a flavor, a taste for broccoli, and that might create a trauma, and that may from the childhood, and that may take you that much longer to enjoy to eat broccoli. So there's emotional reasons. But then another big part of the research that I have done is that if our body actually lacks specific nutrients, that could create cravings because it's the body's natural way of telling us, of letting us know what it's missing. I'll give you an example. If we are stressed, when we are stressed, our bodies burn through magnesium really fast. So a lot of us crave magnesium-rich foods, which happens to be chocolate. So, but if we create snacks or meals or protein shakes that have healthier chocolate options, then we'll do better. I make chocolate at home.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, like from the beans and everything?
Well, from the pellets and cacao butter and cocoa butter. Yeah.
I've actually seen that stuff is pretty good.
Yeah.
So you can't ever give in to your cravings, or what?
I think you can, because I don't believe in being 100% good. I think we all have different opportunities in life that you don't want to pass up. And now in the restaurants, as we're actually in the process of developing 7 new fast casual concepts. So I'm tasting food all the time. But what we have done is we continuously asking ourselves, can we do this better as far as the ingredients, the health of the ingredients, and then still maintain such a high level of flavor for our guests.
Right. Is that something you try to incorporate in all of your restaurants, like a healthy sort of option, or is it just like throughout it?
So that's a great question. One of the things is because I have gone through such a massive health journey myself, I understand what it is like to live without. So what we've done is without gluten, without dairy, without certain ingredients. And our team is extra compassionate to people that have specific dietary restrictions. And we have done, we had somebody who was allergic to pine nuts, and they came to Speaks Clam Bar, one of our restaurants, and we made them pesto on the fly without pine nuts.
Nice.
So it's just doing things like that and treating our guests with such extra compassion instead of a nuisance when they ask for something to omit some kind of an ingredient that they have an intolerance to.
Yeah, that's great. Like even just 5 years ago, I feel like it was impossible to find that in restaurants. Like if you went in and said, hey, I can't have gluten or this or that, they would look at you like you were crazy.
Right. Well, especially with gluten, you have people who are truly celiac, which is, I think the number is about 2%. But then people have different, varied degrees of intolerance to gluten. And if somebody is on a health journey, I think it's our job in the hospitality businesses to accommodate them.
Right. Their money's still good.
Natalia, you talk a lot about, love and how we prepare our meals, how we serve our meals. You believe that's not just something you put on a bumper sticker. You really genuinely believe that is our relationship with food, and that is how we should serve it. You actually have it posted at many of your restaurants, both in English and in Spanish.
Mm-hmm. I think that love is an unmeasured ingredient. And I hope that somebody out there comes out with a device that can measure emotions such as love, such as passion, or sadness, because if somebody cooks as they're sad, I feel like that energy will transfer into the food. So before I start cooking at home, or if I well, I haven't been cooking at the restaurants at all lately, but if we do some sort of training sessions, then I strongly believe in just taking that moment and being really mindful and getting myself into the zone of love, which usually being in the kitchen makes me so happy and excited that love just pours out of me naturally.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's talk about your incredible path of opening so many restaurants in the Tampa Bay area. This is typically an area, a space that men thrive in, both as chefs and as restaurateurs, but you have really taken the Bay Area by storm.
I've been very fortunate. We have the best team. It starts with a team. There's no one person that can ever create success alone. So our restaurant started as a family investment with Speaks Glam Bar. And our first location was open in Lakewood Ranch area. So that one will be celebrating 7 years this year. And then the second one is in St. Armand Circle. That'll be 6 years this year. And then we brought on an unbelievable team, such as our director of operations, Rob, and our culinary director, Chef Hart, and Chef Jess. And now we have another woman who on the team who is our beverage director, Sylvia. So our team is so diverse, and everybody brings such unique perspectives to what we do. So with Rob and Hart, we opened Kojo, and then last year we opened Barhana, which is next door to Kojo, and also Palm Avenue Deli. And those three together, Kojo, Barhana, and Palm Avenue Deli, are downtown Sarasota. And we're getting ready to open this year an unbelievable project in St. Pete.
Yeah, that's going to be where the Sundial is, correct?
It's on Central Avenue.
Oh, okay, Central. All right.
Between 5th and 6th.
Nice.
Yes.
So would it be like a food hall?
Yeah.
That's my neck of the woods. I live down there.
Oh, is
I think I
it?
walk by that area all
great.
the time. I'm wondering, what are they building here? So that's you.
So that'll be, we calling the project Central Park St. Pete Food Hall. And it's a nod to being on Central Avenue, but it also is a nod to Central Park in New York City, where my husband proposed to me 24 years ago.
That is fantastic. Tell us about your restaurant concepts that you were speaking about earlier, that maybe not like fast food, but healthier fast food.
So each one of the concept has some healthy options, because we have a lot of people that reach out to us through social media mostly, and are asking for, do we have this? Do we have vegan and vegetarian and gluten-free? So while the concepts are not 100%, I mean, we have fried options, but we also create a very good balance on having the ingredients and dishes on the menu that are 100% health forward as well. So at Speaks, we have, for example, you can get spiralized zucchini as a substitute for the pasta. And because Speaks Glam Bar is a seafood-centric restaurant, but even the pasta, we make fresh pasta in-house, which digests a little bit differently. It digests a little bit better because it's made with love, like I had mentioned. And then just seafood itself lands to be a perfect vehicle for a perfect ingredient for just delicious and healthy options there. So that's at Speaks. And then Kojo as Asian food, modern Asian, and we have in sushi and sashimi options. And then we have just all kinds of indulgent things as well, because if people go out and celebrate, they want to not always give in to just not always be as strict.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta have a little fun in life. Everything in moderation, right?
Trust me, I know.
Anything else that you want to share from your book? Takeaways. You say this is a 5-step plan to take back control. What are the steps that you walk people through?
I'm sorry I didn't bring the book today.
That's okay.
I didn't even think to grab one. So the first step is pause. I think that it's so important when we are facing this insatiable desire to eat something, and as we know, there are eating disorders, and especially when people step into that medical realm. Definitely recommending working with a health professional. So this is something, if you have a quick craving for something, so definitely pause. And then a lot of times identifying a trigger that that contributes to this. So for example, a trigger can be, are you watching something on TV and somebody's eating a pizza, and now that triggers for you a desire to have that pizza?
Yeah, the same. Like, I have zero desire to drink anything, but I see somebody drinking wine on television. I'm like, wait, I think I need a glass of wine, and you really don't.
Why I can't watch those food challenges like on TikTok or TV or anything. I'm like, oh my God, I don't eat all that stuff.
Yeah, and now we're just bombarded with all of this information, right? So it's so important. Is it to identify, is it your real desire to have it, or is something just contributing to that? And then one of the steps is to use your imagination. So for example, you paused, you identified your trigger, but now can we think about in the moment that you are getting a phone call, okay, Gail, tomorrow you go into the Emmy Awards. And you need to feel your best. You want to have lots of energy, and you also want to fit into that special outfit. So by using that imagination, engaging it, would you give in to that craving in the moment?
I would not.
There you go. So it is, I feel like mindset is such an underrated part of this experience.
That's a really good one. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernie might actually get that phone call.
Yeah,
He's that popular.
all the time.
All right. We'll try and manifest that for you.
Yeah, I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
Those are really good. Do you have any other questions for Natalia?
How do you balance sort of like walking the walk and then talking the talk when you get busy with business and things like that? Because I find that my body just goes to crap when I'm most stressed and pouring myself into my work the most.
So mindfulness is a huge part of this, but also having being constantly involved with organizations. For example, I am a part of the organization that is called Brain Health Initiative, which is, it was created originally by a Harvard doctor, and they partner with local and global organizations to really shine the light on brain health, which is, I think, is so important, because when we go to the doctor, they do health checks, but they don't do brain health checks. So that's part of what I'm involved in is continually educating. And that, to answer your question, I think that when we teach and when we educate, it helps us to reinforce everything that we do. Because if you want to learn something, learn how to teach it. That was one very helpful phrase that I have learned. And then just having a great support system. And I think that when you do it continually for as long as I have been, and I'm sure you have been, it just kind of becomes second nature. Do I slip up? Yes. Especially when big life events happened. Last year was very challenging for me personally, so I wasn't always as good, but having good ingredients at home, and my daughter always reminds me, she's like, Mom, well, this is what you do, and I'm just reminding you to just do your thing.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to ask you that Natalia is going to be on a show where we're celebrating female entrepreneurs that are investing in Tampa Bay and building up our local economy by bringing in jobs and, you know, just supporting the fabric of our community. And I didn't have that show, by the way, is going to air on Thursday at 2 p.m. on Bloom here in the Tampa, Florida market. We're globally syndicated now, but if you want to catch it and see all the other women, you know, please feel free to tune in. But I didn't ask you how you were able to manage growing a restaurant group. And I know you said you took some time off to travel and be a mom and raise, you know, your family. But how do you juggle it all?
It's having trust to the team. I'm the type of person that I'm a perfectionist. So to hire great team members, and that was a big adjustment for me personally through mindset, is to really let go and be open and have. So part of mindfulness journey that I've been on is having a beginner's mindset. So instead of being feeling like, no, I have to control every aspect, I was flipping my mindset to how can I learn from these people and how can we develop such a partnership with them and a sense of trust, and that knowing that what they bring to the plate is going to be really unique and really professional. So we have over 400 people on our team right now.
Wow, that's quite a few.
So quite a few, and much more growth this year with opening of the food hall. And our core team, our director of operations, my husband is my business partner, and he's developed technology that our restaurants are running on. So we have an in-house, basically created point of sale system. And I think that everybody just gives each other grace. We have our operations meetings once a week. And if there's something important, we're on text with the whole team. And with the help of our director of operations, we created the kind of culture that people want to work with us and have people feel comfortable, but also confident, because we invest in our people, we invest in the company, and we just, I don't know, I feel like we treat everybody with such deep respect for the kind of professionals that they are, that makes my job of now, like I mentioned, I'm not in the kitchen, so we're doing majority of the business development for the company. So the team that I trust so much and I respect so much and I love them so much, they make it easier for me to do what I do and take our company to the next level.
Incredible. Well, listen, Natalia, I can't thank you enough for joining us and for sharing your story and for all the incredible kitchen segments that you've been a contributor with on Bloom, the television show. You've taught me a lot. I'm a lot more confident in the kitchen thanks to standing next to somebody like yourself. And so we certainly appreciate you.
I'm filled with gratitude.
All right. Thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody. Till next time.